the Jubilee is coming. Oh, the Jubilee is coming. Come with me and you'll see a world of pure emasculation. Okay, no Willy Wonka, I promise, for the rest of the video. But there will be treats. Well, let's talk about gender. And I know that I am poking the hornet's nest with this video, but you know what? I don't care. And I think this is a vital thing to understand on a philosophical level, on a spiritual level. And I'm not here like Rush Limbaugh to show you how burly men with beards yelling at football games are the most masculine thing on the planet, and lesbians are horrible feminine energies in the world. I tend to see it in kind of a reverse fashion. And I really want to get away from male and female, and I just want to talk about masculine and feminine in kind of a Taoist way, in a positive and negative way, in a yin and yang way, in an anabolic and catabolic way, because these are fundamental principles in reality that go beyond male or female. And there are times in societies, alien or human, where the masculine and feminine principles don't always correlate to sex. And so this is a really important point, because where we are right now as a society is 2,000 years ago. If you watch more of my videos, you'll see how we're coming out of an episode of Earth, the TV show, where we decided as a culture to repress. So it was a competitive necessity where we saw, like let's say that you are early Rome, and the year's 200 or something like that, and there are Mongol hordes, or not just Mongol hordes, but hordes from all other places, the Germanic tribes, or I don't know why I said Mongols, but you know, maybe they came by. They're probably attacking China. I'm gonna roll with it. So the Romans, and let's just imagine where they're coming out of this very warlike kind of tribal existence, and they said, I wonder if we can put our powers together, like maybe in some future age there will be something like the Power Rangers. And they say, and what do they blow, a whistle or something? I don't know. And all of their powers come together and they form some superstructure that is bigger than the sum of the individual parts. That is the feminine in life. When beings decide to limit themselves, to repress their feelings, to conform, to become like puzzle pieces, to form a bigger structure, that is the feminine impulse. When it gets out of control, it can be like the Borg in Star Trek, where the Borg are a group of super technological cyborgs that have embraced the feminine to an extreme degree, and they are run by a queen, a female, and so they represent really the horrors of no more masculinity. And again, I'm not talking about male or female here, because even in Star Trek, like often the strongest people to battle against the Borg, that feminine gone wild, are often female. So it's anyway, that's the example of how I'm explaining the feminine, right? In the extreme, it can get very cult-like. It can be a collective where there is no individuality. Now, on the other side of the coin, the masculine is independence, freedom, self-reliance, the adventurous spirit, the solo hero that is venturing out into foreign lands to find some secret. And the masculine is more interested in being self-reliant, being self-contained, being more a whole itself. It doesn't want to turn itself into a puzzle piece in order to give over its autonomy and its agency to some group. And this is not good, and the feminine is not bad. This is not what I'm saying at all. These two impulses, they interact to form a healthy collective, a healthy society. But what has happened in our culture, and especially as of late, is we've tilted way to the feminine. And I know that I'm poking the hornet's nest with this, but it's true. We have forgotten what freedom is, and people look at individual opinions that are self-reliant, self-created, as bizarre and dangerous in our culture. People look at the masculine as if it is bizarre because it is self-created, self-reliant, and seemingly impervious to manipulation. And when a society gets itself into a very feminine place, where most of the people have turned themselves into machine parts or puzzle pieces, the powers that be really, really enjoy this. I mean, it's not like, this is not negative to those in charge. And they are very willing to encourage feminine type responses and ways of thinking that are more repressive, go with the flow, don't question authority. And again, this is not a negative thing, but if it is out of balance, it can become negative. And I assert that what we are in need of is strong masculine voices. And so all we need to do is turn over society to men and we'll... No, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. Some of the most strong masculine voices of the last 100 years are women. Like some, like hugely strong women and female voices. Emma Goldman, Aretha Franklin, like really like strident masculine energies coming through female bodies, and also queer people. Gay men are some of the most masculine people on the planet, but they're often derided as feminine when they're actually behaving in ways that are very, very strongly masculine, and that's why they're able to be such iconoclastic artists. They are existing in the masculine, and really, I think around the early 20th century, when people like Oscar Wilde were advocating for this return of classical Greek homosexuality without the pederasty, but they were advocating for a strong masculine energy. And also another group of people, people of color, have to be extremely masculine to survive. And so Black women are often some of the most masculine voices in our society. It's not to say there are not strong masculine voices in white male culture. However, white male culture has become very, very feminine, very much interested in control, in groupthink, in reliance on technology. And the masculine is really not concerned with controlling other people. It is obsessed with freedom, really, because it knows that by being whole and being separate and being independent, it has access to a vital source of intelligence that the feminine do not have. The feminine, what they can do is they can combine into a superstructure to have like more security, more strength, more reliability, harder to destroy. And so, but the masculine can often do things that the feminine cannot do. When there is like a group of overly feminine individuals, and they're joined together strongly, that can create an enmeshment that keeps individual voices from developing, and then somebody has to kind of break out and be separate, often thrown out. And that is the beginning of the hero's journey, is the discovery through the masculine of a new idea, because that person has to be self-reliant as an outcast. Going on that journey, they discover a new idea that this group over here didn't have because they were so enmeshed, and then it comes back and kind of inseminates that egg, and then gives birth to some new paradigm, basically. But if there is no place for that hero, that masculine hero, to go away and be separate and self-reliant, like a hermit or an adventurer, or, that's typically in the past, it was a geographical thing that would happen. Now, I think what has to happen, this is a story for another video, but that hero's journey has to happen sort of like in secret within society, where somebody is able to kind of be self-reliant through technology, separate from the group, and then come back. And they were like hidden in plain sight. I think that's the new model. But anyway, it's another story. The thing about masculine voices, like pure masculine voices, again, not talking about male and female, I'm really not, is they often sound extremely absurd to the collective. They are often ridiculed as strange, bizarre, dangerous, and sometimes angry. They don't follow the social rules, and people fear them. And it is my assertion that if those masculine, independent, freedom-loving voices are not allowed to develop, society stagnates, and it cannot grow. And this is my final point. In the age of Aquarius, whatever you want to call it, the age of technology, the age of this technological goddess that we've constructed, that we now live in, this artificial world, the masculine does not express itself as the warrior who goes out and conquers, or the hunter that goes out and kills a boar. The masculine expresses itself through artistry. So people like conceptual artists, rock stars, authors, fiction writers, bold, dynamic, individual, free voices are utterly vital to the survival of humanity, but they are very, very much under attack. And there are almost none left. Most radical, freedom-loving, independent voices are, like Michel Foucault would say, they're not necessarily in prison, they are monitored. And it's almost like they are tagged and monitored by society, by the authority, medicated, told that they're mentally ill, pathologized, and end up dragging a huge weight just to have an independent individual voice. And this is a serious, serious problem in our society. If we cannot have space for free masculine voices, we're not going to make it. And I guarantee you that those masculine voices, they don't want to say, let's all go to war. That's not what they're going to say. That's a feminine thing. To conquer like that is a feminine impulse. To own, to dominate, and like true masculinity is very much freedom loving. It's all been so like messed up in the modern world. It's all scrambled. But I really believe that I know that there is a strong masculine and feminine principle, and we are weighted heavily to the feminine. And my book, How to Survive the Winter, goes into detail about this situation, where it came from, and how to get out of it. And one last thing that I think is really important about this subject: there is no such thing as a pure masculine or pure feminine individual. If you look at the yin-yang symbol in Taoism, there's a little dot of black in the white, and there's a little dot of white in the black, because you cannot have a purely independent individual, purely free individual, without having some ability to be receptive, some ability to join with other people, some ability to listen, some ability to break down things that are not working anymore. And the other way around, a healthy feminine individual has also a masculine core as well. These forces cannot be fully separate. And so I think that there is a new paradigm, a new ideal that is being born into the world, and it's not going to look like the past. But I do think that the Aquarian individual will probably be more self-reliant, listening to the intuition inside, and more self-assured. And the old collectives of partial people who are looking for those few masculine voices to tell them what to do, they're not going to have a good time. So that's what I have to say about gender. And check out my writing for more. And I will say one last thing. My gender transition helped me discover my masculinity. I started taking hormones 11 years ago, and quickly was able to create a lot of artistic works, which I view as a masculine kind of thing. And my voice got stronger. I was able to stand up for myself. And I used to have dreams where I was constantly pushed around, and now in my dreams I'm able to really just defend myself, because by living as a woman, I actually was able to rediscover my masculinity. It's very strange, very queer, no pun intended, but it's definitely not as simple as male masculine, female feminine at all. And so if you're male and you need to transition gender to feminine, take hormones or something, you might actually rediscover your masculinity by doing that. And it's not going to show up in you walking around with a gun threatening people. It's going to show up in your ability to be self-reliant, free, joyous, and free. Just free. Oh, somebody died today. All you ever had is in the middle of the song. You never needed all the music. Oh, somebody died today. All you ever had is in the middle of the song. You never needed all the music. head is in the middle of your soul. You never needed all the money to eradicate the whole.